think the organization should be one.
We won't perfect everything before we implement. As we go along, perfection will happen. Improvements will happen.
But that is the program will evolve themselves. They will evolve themselves.
There will be a need, so that need will be fulfilled by CPRI, anybody.
CPRI is
I think there should be only one testing agency.
Yeah.
It should be enabled efficiently. Because if there will be multiple complexity, it will create confusion and nothing else.
So my thing concern here is that challenge would be there have been implementations, smart implementations. We have got isolators, we have got control relay protection, we have got those things. Those are in place. They would remain. Smartness will come into it. RTOs will be replaced by others. The SCADA systems would again evolve. The IT systems will evolve. The platforms would change. But in this process, when we know today that smart grid is the next thing, why not start acting on what we're implementing today rather than plan that this would be scrapped after 5 years?
You implement time of the day meeting today.
Our idea
will take off.
Not the regulation part.
You start with that. I'm telling you.
Infrastructure part.
I'm telling you, infrastructure will be developed based on that.
Let's go to the genesis of the RAPDR. What was the APDRP targeting? There was a need there. The need was suddenly people discovered that we do not know how much power is going out which is unpaid. This was the genesis.
Yeah.
You tell me one thing. Was there anything preventing you from measuring it with a slightly less inaccurate meter? Because your losses were in the range of 100%, 80 to 100%. By having increased an accuracy of 2.5%, what would you have gained? Maybe instead of 80%, it was 78.5. But the acceptable levels were still about 70%. What prevented the government from investing into at least reducing that 70% to 20%? So let me tell you, there is more to it than meets the eye. Here technology was being pumped, money was being pumped into technology. Where it could have been pumped, better. There were avenues available.
I would not talk about those forces who did this.
Yeah. So no, that's what I'm saying. Let's not get into something which we cannot leave. It's not something like that.
I was there in TV.
It might have started with some good intention, but
I'll tell you something. There was a director technical there in PVVNL of Mayor's office. I was there about a month back in his office, and I was talking to him about all this because they're implementing SCADA and also I was discussing with him. He said, Harsh, everything is fine, but first thing is my network, my basic network. You should have a look. You're talking of all smart meters, smart this thing, but if you go and my basic infrastructure in Noida is crumbling. I do not even have a basic infrastructure existing. My distribution transformers, my switches, switch gears, they are all in a bad shape. I need money to revamp them instead of talking of technology. So the first technology will act on the basic infrastructure, and because of the electricity boards running a loss for years together, as I said, the basic infrastructure. Delhi has revived because of those privatization, but what about the other state utility? And RAPDR is pumped into for getting the advanced technology. The basic infrastructure is in bad shape.
So now I would like to just sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, in many states.
RAPDRP does not talk only about advanced technology. It also talks about.
I know.
Yeah. So out of 50,000 crores, there is a major chunk which goes into distribution centering.
Transmission and sub-transmission network.
They have an eye on that also.
Yes. It goes into distribution centering.
I know, I agree, but nothing has been moved in that way.
Does it go into something which will pay for itself? See, point is, you can institute something. You can institute something. If it does not pay for itself, it's going to go defunct in another 5 years' time. It's going to go defunct.
Also, should I know anything on the role of government in it also? Can you throw some more light in this?
In what, like?
Role of
standardization. Government has a part to play.
Right.
Because it is government who will finally, some government agency will authenticate whatever decisions come from the manufacturers and users.
Right.
So they will come to some standards, some open protocols and all. But that has to be validated by somebody. So what the body which will validate it will obviously be a government body. As it is in the US.
Regulation also there.
As it is in the US.
Otherwise,
No, actually,
all things will
the
collapse
reason
unless
for it
the
being a government
strict
body is
regulation of the
different.
government.
It's not
And their
the
political
first
will is
reason
there.
that these testing
Things will
bodies
not go.
or standard bodies, they have to be funded, and any commercial funding will only happen when the returns are adequate. So the private sector will not be willing to get into it. There the role of the government comes in to support it till such time that it starts paying for itself.
Right.
So government will have to come in.
Right.
There is no doubt of that.
Right. Mr. Jain, you were talking about regulation and even going beyond government institutions also needed to implement those regulations also. What is your take on the institutional framework and the regulation framework?
Actually, government regulation are to be, there should be a strict one actually.
Right.
Unless you have keep away the political requirement.
Implementable. That's what it is. That's very important.
Then only the things will success. Whatever we discuss, unless things will be implemented, whatever way you decide,
Right.
things will go success.
Right. Mr. Srivastava, you have to add something on this?
Well, enforcement is the major issue. Like it should be enforcement
In
should
that
be
way, enforcement is there.
proper.
By force,
Regulations
things
are
can be
made to be
implemented.
enforced
Right
and,
thing can be implemented. Otherwise,
in
you
India,
leave on the people.
we are
India,
making
two things
enforcement.
work together.
We have all kind of laws. We have everything. But when we compare with certain countries, we
People
find
must be
ourselves to be
habitual
wanting
to
just because of
get
enforcement.
into
part.
the
Right. So, where are we today? Say, for example, Pondicherry is doing something, Chhattisgarh did something. So, at a national and various levels of state governments, where are we today in implementing smart grid? Is it that not started?
No, it has
No,
started.
it has started.
It has
As I
started.
told you, like the Power Ministry, Government
Right.
of India,
Right.
has made a smart grid forum, and there are like working groups, 8 working groups working in it on different aspects.
Right.
So it's not that nothing has been done. We had been working. There had been a conference recently organized by Power Grid,
Right.
where like the latest technological issues were discussed.
Right.
So we are thinking, we are evaluating. It's not that yes, but we are moving cautiously.
No, I
And
think,
which is the
what
call of
he
the
is
day?
talking about
Which is the call of the day?
is the smart metering. Let me say, SCADA implementation has happened in many places.
Even in
Many places. And that's a major component of smart grids.
Right.
That has happened in many places. Let's say more intelligent meters have been installed in many places. So all those things have happened. It's not as if they have not happened. People have gone slow on this for 2 reasons. But the first reason is of course financial, because enough money is not there to spare. And the second reason is that people are very unsure about what is the life cycle of these products. Today if I implement something and 5 years down the line I find it's obsolete, when a meter should be there at least for 10 years, you will be wary of going into it. But people have gone on. And I think that way Indian market has been always reasonably good. It has not gone whole hog into anything and suffered later on.
Right.
But it has slowly gone in and assessed the needs. And the government bodies, as it says, will also play a role. Because at some point of time, these bodies will deliver something which is going to help them. Maybe in form of regulations, in form of specifications, and sometimes maybe in the form of need. They will be identifying needs.
What happens is that, any new technology, as you rightly said, that is need based, and there's a component of pricing. Even when you go for a new mobile phone or you go for a new laptop, you don't always go for the best in the market, the general trend. You rather say which is the durable one, fulfills my needs and has some additional features, is being used or has been proven in the market and has an optimum price. Same goes with smart grid technology and components. We need to see, is it durable, is it proven, has the product proven itself in somewhere, is it interpretable, does it meet my needs, does it cater to some needs of the future.
And can I
All
afford
those
it?
things are still there.
And can I afford it? Fine.
And can I afford it?
That is important.
am I getting, you know,
But I have a comment here to make
Another
sure.
is
Because
what
when
to
we started SCADA, that technology, we were the first to buy that ABB SCADA in this country actually, we were the first. After that, yes, Metro SCADA came and they got it, of Karnataka they got 1,000, their transmission company got it. But ABB SCADA we were the first to. If we would have waited where it is implemented in this country or somewhere, or even across the world, they did not have many distribution SCADA of this size. So somewhere you have to start actually, you cannot always look at other things are same, the optimum pricing, good pricing, etc. But also you have to take that, the companies from which you are buying, if they have been proven technologies in the past, you have to take that also into account. Not that product hasn't been implemented anywhere and let just. With that you will have spent some time.
No, but
One
we are not the
having-
first in the world to use the ABB SCADA.
but at least,
Huh?
We are not the first in the world. That way also we
The
will
distribution of this size, Ajayji, I'll tell you one thing, of this size,
Ah.
they had nowhere, 28 lakh consumers serving or both
No.
consistent.
Let's not talk about 28 lakhs. We are talking about
That is the power also.
120
Let us say 2000 megawatt handling SCADA, they did that nowhere that kind of a size.
At
of
least-
SCADA.
London had a SCADA of about 40,000 megawatt. Boss, don't say.
Not ABB SCADA?
Not ABB, not ABB.
I'm talking ABB SCADA. I'm just proven, yes, SCADA may be there, but not ABB was not having that kind of
That is not
SCADA.
the
We were
question.
the
That is
first.
talking about the brand.
I have.
No, ABB had a
been
brand, yes,
fortunate
but
to be
not
experienced
SCADA.
SCADA when I was in Siemens. Right. So, under APDRP, the first SCADA by Siemens was at Gurugram. Right. And I was part of it. Somewhere the utility has to take a stand. I am getting fund. Company has a right
Good
credentials.
brand.
You know,
That's
they will
that's
deliver.
more important.
The product is proven itself in some ways, somewhere.
Yeah,
There is
right.
a proof of
Credentials
concept.
is also very
Credentials
important.
are seen, and then you say, you know,
That's
if it
right.
has done this 80% over there, and they have credentials, they put forward for the 100%.
Exactly, that's what
Let us
the
try it.
credentials, that company's strength has to be also seen before the product
If
is.
that mindset does not play, then nothing ever would get implemented. So, you have to take a balanced decision. You have to take a balanced decision, but again, you are not going to jump because somebody is pushing
You
it.
cannot expect
because
that
that's-
whatever we are, you know, any.
Some DD will happen.
As I said, the
That DD will
credentials
deliver
is
something.
equally important. You have to, when you have to judge, you have to judge with many factors, not only the product, but you have to see the credentials, the
I
strength of the
feel we
company,
should
the past
wait for the
performance.
technology to mature.
Of the company, of the product,
Yeah,
of the
absolutely.
market.
Yeah, and similar kind of product.
Same would happen with
Yeah.
market.
But technology
Yes.
should mature.
We cannot
Let the
expect
market
I will
mature,
implement
then we
smart
should.
grid in, let's say, 5 lakh town. I will implement smart grid only if the similar implementation of smart grid in 5 lakh town should be done in India itself. That you cannot
Never
accept.
happen.
That
Never
will
happen.
Then nothing will happen.
No, that will not happen. As I said, the need will identify itself. Need in some cases has already identified and we have implemented. So, while we may appear to be going slow on it, but I think it's prudent. The movement is
So,
prudent.
I think
It's
so.
I think
Infrastructure.
smart grid will never start in India with household.
It will never. Yeah.
It will start with commercial, with industries only.
Yes, yes.
Because there the need is there,
When they need
smartness
it,
of the
they will
consumer
purchase
is
at any
there,
rate.
and there is a benefit out of it to the utility
Yes.
from those consumers. So they will start there,
That's why I'm
and
telling
it is a long way to go for the power grid to convert into smart grid.
I think something I want to add here, that 60% of the consumers are the low-paying consumer, household consumers.
But the
You
revenue-
cannot, but the same kind of a smartness of the utility, as he said very rightly, yes, there will be a time of day waiting for a commercial consumer, industrial
Yes,
consumer, for your demand side management or demand, whatever it is. But utility, and there's a considerable amount of, the utility spends on this is because the regulators want them to be met that 3 hours, their problem should be resolved, etc. So we need a device which needs to be developed in this country, which may not be two-way communication, but one-way communication, may be inbuilt a cheap meter with an AMR kind of a facility for this. If you are not giving them an AMI meter or a smart meter, at least a meter which meets their requirement, where you don't have to go every month to download the reading or to give them a bill or things like that. You can give them some facility.
But again, in this case also, I mean, as Mr. Ajay Kumar said, it depends on where to start with. You cannot expect that I will put such kind of meters in every village and town. First of all, the meters will vanish. even on the copper wire to that, or the the other things. I was recently studying the copper prices going up. The substations have been.
I'll give you an example. An Indian meter.
But here is where I thought when we got the CDAC exchanges, if you go back to the technology, at that point of time when Rajiv Gandhi thought of exchanges and the communication, we were in the Bullock lane, and he thought the communication should, and Sam Pitroda did a marvelous job by bringing those CDAC exchanges which we do not speak anymore today. But those are the exchanges which changed the way we communicate in this
But
country.
that technology came at 1 rupee verse. It was not a commercial pushing.
Just let me finish it.
Even
Let me finish. Because I'm just coming to there only. And now the same Sam Pitroda has given a task to his boys in Bangalore to develop a meter, the kind of a meter which I am talking about, for 500 rupees, which will communicate on the AMR. And they have done it, and they have done a prototypes also. I met with them.
What I feel, what we are discussing, just a sec. What we are discussing is the later part. We are skipping the basics, right? We are making a building without foundation. You are talking about smart grid where you want to involve the consumers, but what is smart grid? To start with, what is smart grid? Which can sustain itself, first thing. Forget about the consumers. Grid should be sustainable. There should be sustainability.
That means there is a commercial angle to it.
It will happen to
consumer will be benefited. Look, if a small fault disrupt the power of the whole country or maybe whole region, that is going to affect the industry, the common man, the financial institution, everybody, even the utility. Just let me say. No. That is
this feature would be there.
No. First you strengthen the grid, and then talk about the consumer. Then rope in the consumer. First you do the homework.
No, that is precisely what we are saying. That the consumer will be the
and
last
then bring in the consumer that okay, now we are ready with everything. Your power will not be disturbed. I am ready to give you 24/7, and then ask the consumer, okay, now you become a partner to it, and do this and this.
I agree with
You
you.
will be
You're
Absolutely right. That is a path to
yeah, actually. So
when you
let
ask
us
about
discuss
what
the
is
basics.
happening in terms of smart grid, I think RFPDRP is the best example. That is the biggest initiative towards smart grid, and a lot has happened in it. I would say, as compared to any other e-governance initiatives and their progress, RFPDRP has proven itself to be the best. I'm not saying it's on track. I'm not saying so. I'm not saying it is foolproof. But I'm saying as compared to other e-governance initiatives,
most implemented. Let's say
most implemented and best results would be seen out of it. 1400 towns, 1400 plus towns have IT implementation. Right? All major cities and towns would have SCADA. When you say IT implementation, every town except Haryana, every state except Haryana has a consultant. Except Haryana and Chhattisgarh, every state has a IT implementation agency.
So
Chhattisgarh का change हो गया ना? अब
Reliance Infra has taken over.
So now look at these two things. Then SCADA already started rolling in. Few implementation agencies already came in. Consultant, every state has a consultant. Part B, the distribution strengthening part, again rolling in. Part C, the capacity building is also added to it. National Grid rolling in. I think 16,000 utility personnel have been trained.
So that drum has come in again. We are again partner to it, and
So
then training the trainers has started.
16,000
So
utility personnel already
training
trained. So you look at it, all the angles which we have spoken about, capacity building, about IT infrastructure, about
there has been
smart infrastructure, nothing
Yes,
better would have been done as a platform.
Everything has come in except tariff. Which is going to sustain it actually.
I know.
What is
But the regulator doesn't think
There is discussion and thinking on it. I think it will
They will
come.
comment on it.
Yeah,
I'm not the
my,
right person.
my question is, what is slowing down it in Haryana? Why one particular state only? Is it the
Again, the
leadership
resistance, basically it is the resistance to change.
No, I think Haryana is very savvy. Let's not think that Haryana is doing something foolish. They are very, very savvy.
Right.
What they have consciously taken a decision, as in many other policy decisions. They have said, If I am convinced, let's do it today. If I am not, let's wait and see what happens.
Okay.
They have always done it, and they have done it. Smart grid को छोड़ दिया. Normal power system policies में भी वो ऐसे ही करते हैं. When they are convinced, they go all out.
No, but Ajay ji, there is everywhere because there was this Faridabad where the SCADA consultant was Reliance Infra, and there was a huge resistance to change. They would not allow them to survey even. They were not even allowed to survey their substations. That was the ground reality.
And I was telling him that
there's a huge resistance to
whatever parameters are being mentioned in the RFP part, the IT part or the SCADA part, many of them already exist in the Gurgaon, Faridabad or the major town areas of Haryana.
वो लोग कर देते हैं.
Actually,
I'm telling you, Chhattisgarh, when Reliance Infra team moved in as a third one, as the implementing agency, they were surprised to know that whatever they are talking of in revised APIDB, Chhattisgarh State Electricity Board has already bought it. That's one of the cash-in State Electricity Board. They have got SAP ISU, they have got an SAP ERP, they have got all kinds of hardware servers, and they are buying it again because RAPRD. So there is some mistake also here involved because they had already started, but they were not able to utilize it that effectively. That was the only thing. So maybe RAPRD with the consultants in place and things like that, they may be better utilized. Reliance already having implemented in Delhi and Mumbai, so they would be better placed to implement it there. So that is the experience which we will bring. But they had the necessary infrastructure already there existing.
You would see that RFP, these 4 states, West Bengal, Gujarat, Punjab, and these will be coming up in August, right? So other utilities would have a proof of concept that this is what has been done, and this is these are the
because it is the BJP rule state. That's what PFC says.
I cannot comment on that.
But it is each is PFC.
Is not a BJP rule.
But they said non-Congress or something like that. They told me they are doing better than the Congress rule state. That is
that's a different thing.
Whichever political party
that is why Power Finance Corporation is not a political body. Sorry, that is their comment.
I'm saying that in case whichever political party is ruling over there, if they are proving themselves
absolutely
for the coming elections, and the other political parties, learn from it and also prove it's good.
They have to
good for the country, good for the people, good for the utilities.
Absolutely.
Right. So I mean that is one thing. Platform and work in smart grid. This is how it is.
Just one more topic. With implementation of these grids, there will be more issues like cyber security is one issue which will come up, but it's too early to talk about it.
Absolutely.
So I think we captured a lot of issues today. What we have to close by one because we have to leave.
I would like to add into cyber security part. There is a background to it. Why I am saying so. Whichever new technology comes in. I was talking about the older technologies to be existing over there. They have to handshake with the new technology. The infrastructure to be partly old, partly new in any of the office setup or in the field, right? So there will be both kind of equipments. The threat might not be there due to the new equipment. Threat would be at 3 places. One, at the older equipment not conforming or not conforming to the standards of the cyber security. 2, the interface between the two. Older technology, new technology will be interface, that portion. And 3rd, the human angle. These will be the threats. And to ensure that these threats are avoided, the way forward would be, there should be like, multi-level authentication, like you go to a ATM card or ATM machine, you have a password and you have a card as well, right? So if you lose the card, nobody can take your money out. If you are telling your password, the password is gone somewhere through your phone or somewhere, again the money cannot be taken out. So multi-level security should be there, authentication should be there. In general terms, it's like what you know, what you have, and what you are. Right. What you know part would be, a password. What you have is like a smart card. And what you are is like biometrics. Combination of three is used in data centers.
But
Access.
just to add to cyber security, it cannot be, there will be a different levels of cyber security for a different application.
Correct.
Let me put it this way. For something like SCADA distribution management system, because we thought when we did it 5 years back, we thought there should not be on the network which Reliance communicates normally, which is called Reliance Digital Network. So we consciously kept it away from the Reliance Digital Network.
Exactly.
It is just the old network which is dedicated to it. So again, of course, I'll add something later. But so you have for SCADA, which can cripple your power supply to the city, which is controlling when you are unmanning your receiving substation. So it is necessary that you have to be very consciously keeping it a network which is a local area network, being in a WAN, but it acts as a local area network.
Yeah, that was my second point.
Intranet, not internet.
So yes, where the consumer interacts or where the server data or your billing data is there it is a demilitarized zone which you can have multiple layer, where you have access control systems and you have a video surveillance. So those are the different categories of security.
But system control should not be.
In the end, let me add the human angle, which is that
The human angle.
80% of the Gartner study says that 80% of the hacking is done by the employees of that particular organized persons of that
No,
organization.
not hacking. It is information stealing.
Whatever you say, the
Theft of
breach
information
of
is done by the
security
inside.
is not externally, but it is
When we are
internal.
talking about cyber security, cyber security would not be unique to a smart grid system. It would be true for any electronic system.
Yeah.
And that development has to happen parallelly and is still happening parallelly. It's never going to be foolproof because there will be a.
No, it is foolproof, as he said, if you keep it on your internet.
Let me tell you. The
most of the things
US
are.
Army secured server was hacked from Germany.
No, that
Because they had one access. And that was hacked.
That is what
So,
I'm saying.
I'm saying
That's
it's
not
never
true.
foolproof.
There
It's
are
making it better
multiple-
and better.
I would
For Iran,
complete.
the computers got hacked without being on any network. A pen
Yeah.
drive was
So
used.
cryptography, encryption, they had 128, then they had 250.
And you have people going in. People going in
encryption is also
No,
growing.
if you are on
Cryptography is
internet, they
growing.
can steal your information, they can take your information, but they cannot affect your operation.
Because I was told
that is what is my
recently
point.
by Mumbai
The
office,
great
they bought-
operations can be
they bought
ruined if it is
Israeli
on the
locks,
net.
and which costed them $5,000 for locking their distribution, securitization, their distribution network. Israeli locks, and then they said they tested it in Israel, where they found out that they were tested by the bombs and all. They blasted it and the lock still stood. So, so it is a development which is continuous. And Ajay, very it is a fight between the thief and the
Cyber security part in many angles. One I was saying is human angle. Second, you rightly said, there should be a control level network dissociation or isolation. That is another thing.
I'll give you an example
Any
of
one of
Iran.
them- any
Iran,
one of them will not solve the
Iran
problem.
nuclear project, how it has been covered by you.
That is a separate area complete in itself.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
and
you have to
in
develop
that area there is a human
you
being
cannot,
Yeah.
you cannot
who has physical access to it. What will you do at that time?
No, how US came to know about the this Iranian atom bomb? How you know about it? Like,
No.
it
I'm not sure what they still
it
have
was-
an atom bomb.
It was,
I'm not sure whether they still
there was a bot. Like it's a new technology in terms of cyber security. So they planted a bot through some pen drive or any device, right? And they forgot about it. But the moment they came on net, that bot activated and it started sending the
Transmitting the data. Yeah.
So that is what I'm saying. Don't go to the internet, and you are most
when
of
you
the
say-
time you are
no,
secure.
when you look at any nuclear power plant,
Most of the time you
if
are
you look at
Not-
any
not
nuclear power
everything.
plant, the operation of the SCADA system will not have anything to do with internet. Nothing. It's totally isolated. But do we have a threat there?
Yes.
There are
Threat is always there. I tell you, threat is always there.
Physical
Threat will always be
physical
there.
you will take care. Then
No,
you have
there
this
must be-
multi-level authentication you can take care.
And that
Isolation you will do. Then we have another level to it.
actually that's the reason
Encryption.
when I'll just add to
Then
it.
you have another level to it. After encryption, you have got, what kind of application can it run? You have got two kind of, listing. Like antivirus, what it does, it will tell you blacklisting. These kind of codes cannot be done. There is an opposite to it, whitelisting.
Always.
Whitelisting is a better, easier way, and only these codes can be run. Anything else cannot be done. So whitelisting can be done. So
Yes,
these
that
kind
can
of
be done.
things, multi angles for cybersecurity are required.
And add to it, because again in LITD 10 when we were defining SCADA, I had stood my ground there that you have to have a disaster recovery. You have to have a disaster recovery in a smart grid or any system.
Most important.
So that is one of the most crucial things, that you have to build a disaster recovery somewhere far off from the region where you are, so that you can...
different seismic zone.
Yeah, maybe. So that you can come back and get the system revived ASAP. So you have to be prepared for a disaster, that's what.
Even in the disaster recovery, people tend to forget. They will have redundant system in the main data center, redundancy, everything, security will be in place in the main data center, and they have, periodic, monthly, fortnightly, or weekly, or daily backups in the disaster recovery center. But they tend to forget that the disaster recovery center itself
is subject to
stress check. And they do not take those precautions there.
Very
normally
interesting point is, when you talk about Singapore,
normally
Singapore has got a huge amount of automation. When you're talking to them, they have taken a very different stand. They say that the automation is the backup. They would normally operate on a manual mode. In case you make a mistake, the automation is the backup. That is another way of looking at it.
Yeah, when we were talking about SCADA moving from power to trains, I was part of the automation of SMRT, Singham MRT. Okay, and you are right that they would normally operate in that train manually.
And their concept is very different. They said, if I automate it completely, in case of a difficulty, problem or a disaster, I have already lost the manual skills to actually
yes.
So they say that the automation has to be a backup which will prevent me from making mistakes.
Very good concept.
So similar thing goes, we have been automating the control data protection part. We have already been automating since years the distribution, the power sector, and we have got human intervention. If we automate everything and we do not have enough capacity building for the lineman to react in terms of complete blackouts, phaser failure or whatsoever, then again we are losing the smart grid. And the smart grid is not smart and the people are not smart.
Correct.
Just to, I think we've got a lot of inputs from you. What I'll do is we'll again go around the table, taking from you your last comments in form of what should be the way ahead. And this time I'll begin with you.
As we have been saying, the way ahead has to be, let's say, with caution, with a lot of caution. Let's not jump into it. Let the market and the needs develop by themselves. Create the enabling factors, maybe the regulations, maybe the know-how, maybe the awareness, and the market will decide as to where you will go, how fast you will go. Don't try to push it.
There must be initially some standardization, regulation from the government, and authentication of the system. Once it is placed, then only things can move further. You cannot move without all these things. You can generate whatever thing, there is not authentication of it. There will not be any dearth of the consumer for it. There are people there to pay higher amount of these things if they get the continuous and quality power. There have been things coming like high-tech cities which are being developed in the 2,800 acres, 2,000 flat group societies, where people of the high paying capacity are there, and they can pay at much higher tariffs if they get the quality power, and they can support these systems to be in place. You need not to afraid that you will not get money to support this, develop the system. Things have changed now. People are there, commercial industries are there, who can afford the things and support the things. Socio-economic things will always be there in this country. They will not pay, but other will compensate. People are there to compensate this. you can go ahead, need not to afraid that things will not get success. Government also on the way, like he's saying, so many committees have been automated. I know that in the other higher forms also, they are developing other things also. They are aware of the thing. If you want to improve the generation capacity, distributions, networks, money will be required to support it.
First thing I would like to say is we should not be afraid of the technology. We should be like willing to adopt the technology, but at the same time we should not be copying somebody. As has been discussed in the forum, that some technology can be good for one country and may not be good for us. We may have different needs. We should first of all identify our requirements, our needs, and then build upon our system over time, starting from the basic and then going to the advanced system, not the vice versa. So this is what is my opinion. But we should adopt technology. Technology adoption is must, because like without which we will be like again moving backwards towards the Stone Age. That's all.
Yeah, but as a summation, I'd just like to add a few things. One, let's not be blown by this words about smart or intelligent grid or super grid they call it, because as I said, they cannot be add to smartness. I can never understand what is smartness, where it can add. What exactly our consumer needs, or what our country needs, or how can it help it, the energy security, we should be looking at those areas. And we should be coming out with the requirements, a very clear definition of this thing from the experience of persons who have implemented RAP-RDP, because there will be, again, every experience teaches us something. So when we did implemented a lot of things, and when I read the specs of RAP-RDP, then I found there were, because some things I thought is not going to happen anyway. And I'm sure many of the states that they had to revise those things, and that also I know. So these are things, because some utilities like Tata's or Reliance have done quite a good work on the smart grid technologies. They should be brought in, and their experience should be taken, and other states should try to reach a level where other private utilities are, and then it has to be stage wise. You cannot overnight become an AMI or everything, having everything. So it has to go stage wise, and they have to interact. There has to be a lot of knowledge sharing, capacity building. The utilities who have done it, they should become, help other utilities to grow further. So this is the kind of a platform which needs to be developed in place, and we need to develop components and do research which makes the thing cost effective. Which I think, CDAC team, which is now see something else, I do not remember that, but they are doing the similar thing.
I think first of all there should be a unison amongst the stakeholders, whether it is political stakeholder, regulatory framework, utility, private and government, technology partners, those who have implemented it or those who have tested it. There should be a unison among themselves, listing down the benefits versus the cost, and then come up with a prudent decision of what is good, what is bad, or what is required today, what might be a future requirement, not necessary to invest today, and come up with a solution that this is the definition, and then have a nationwide strategy so that due to the mass production the cost is reduced. That is, I think, the way forward. The way RAP-DRP came in, there's going to be a new phase of RAP-DRP. The next thing which should come in is, smart grid phase 1.
With that, I thank you all. It was a wonderful interacting with you, and I hope our readers will also get benefited with all your views. So we'll have 5 minutes if somebody wants to use the washroom, and we step into lunch then.
Sure. I will take a leave. I have a meeting at Gurgaon.